Hi, let's talk about subject lines. This is the first thing that people see when they're going to read your email, and it helps them decide whether this email needs to be immediately read and how they're going to react to the email. So, what don't you do? Let's begin with the things that make your subject line a problem. First, let's not make everything so important that it ceases to be important. So don't use exclamation points, and certainly don't use more than one if you have to use an exclamation point. Don't use vague words. The word important seems like it's, not vague, but it is in fact vague because no one knows the context. Why is this important? So if you are going to stress that something's important, tell us what it is important in reference to, and then maybe we can better make a decision about how we're going to handle this. Question. If you're going to ask a question, then give us some information about what it pertains to in the subject line, please, and don't use the word question. That is another vague word. Don't write an entire sentence, please. Sentences do not belong in subject lines, so no periods in your subject line, and don't write an entire message in your subject line. Put your message in the place where messages belong. Now, that does not mean that you cannot put a question mark in the subject line, but we're going to look at when and how that works in a minute. Please also do not use only lowercase. You will capitalize subject lines the way you capitalize book titles. At least that's what we're doing right now. It allows people to read them better, more easily, and it's just how human eyes and brains work. So what do? Eliminate filler words. So if you want to give me the main message, the main idea of an email, then pick the keywords that I am most likely to want to see that will tell me what that email is about. Make your emails usually only about one subject. Try not to include multiple subjects. And allow me to see what that is about without all the connective words that you might have in a sentence. So sometimes I will take the first sentence of an email where I tell someone what it's about, and then I'll narrow it down to the main keywords. So human resources certification available. Interview timeline. So if I were writing a message in my first sentence says, here's the interview timeline for our interviews tomorrow, then my subject line might be interview timeline, or interview timeline for Monday, and then the date. That makes it easily searchable. When I see it in a week or 2 weeks or 6 weeks or 6 months or 2 years, I immediately know what that email pertains to. Here's where you can use a question mark. Look at adjustment to schedule. Okay, so I am asking a question. Can we adjust the schedule? And now the person who receives the email can make a decision. And then budget meeting agenda, Tuesday 9 a.m. If you have a action item or a meeting that someone's going to be referencing on their phone, so notice everything I've pulled up here. You've seen 2 sets of screenshots from emails I've sent to myself. These are all set up as if I was looking at them on my phone. So remember that that's important. People see these and they see that subject line first, and then they make a decision about whether to click on it. Well, if I'm going to have to attend a meeting, then including the day and time, that's helpful to me. If there were a room, if there was actually a room number that I needed to know, maybe put that there in that subject line too. Don't take up too much space. But if people are going to need that, and they don't want to click, then do that. Make this accessible. So what are the main ideas overall as far as how you should approach subject lines? Remember to summarize the main idea of your email. Try to only have one main idea per email. So if you have 2 big things coming up, try to have one email dealing with one of them and one email dealing with the other. And that way people can keep their minds straight and the conversations are not confusing. Make sure that those emails are easily searchable. Know your keywords. Know that they're going to be referenced on phones. That's how people work these days, or tablets. And make sure that your subject lines and your emails themselves meet your audience needs. So what do they need to do and know? That's how you approach this, and that's what you circle back around. Remember, the subject line is the last thing you look at before you send that email, because it's the first thing that your audience will see, and it will help shape their reaction to whatever it is that you are sending them. So you obviously look at it carefully before you send it. Thanks. I hope this helped. Bye.